Michael's a terrific player. I'm not taking anything away from Michael, but Scottie's a rebounder, as a passer, as a defender, and as, the whole complete package.
He was a 6-time NBA champion, a 7-time All-Star, and one of the greatest defenders the game has ever seen.
Block shot, double header, Treat to Harvey, underneath. Oh, by Pippen. Oh, standing ovation.
He earned 10 All-Defensive Team selections, made the All-NBA First Team 3 times, and was a 2-time Olympic gold medalist.
Scottie turns it in right in the lane.
His career spanned 17 seasons, and in that time, Scottie Pippen redefined what it meant to be a complete player. A versatile force who could score, pass, defend, and lead. Yet, for all his accolades, his dedication, and his impact on the game, Pippen's name is often overshadowed. How could one of basketball's most accomplished players, a Hall of Famer and a legend in his own right, remain undervalued? Why was Scottie Pippen, a player who did everything on the court, always seen in someone else's shadow? This is the story of Scottie Pippen, undervalued.
Wearing number 7, starting forward at 6'11" from Croatia, Tony Kukoc. Wearing number 33, starting forward at 6'7" from Central Arkansas, Scottie Pippen.
The Bulls are just 4-4 on the road in the playoffs.
In Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals, Scottie Pippen would play with a back injury.
Post Scottie on him, they go to it right away.
Facing a raucous Utah crowd and a revitalized Jazz team, Scottie Pippen and the Bulls would be dealt another ominous setback in the early moments of Game 6.
The start of that game, I got a dunk early in the game and got banged a little bit by Malone.
Stockton comes over on the double team. Now back to Scottie, and they couldn't recover. Hornacek was left alone with him.
And that really put me back on my heels.
Bob, I think Scottie Pippen pulled his back out on that dunk shot on his first play when he reached up for the rim and he pulled it down. I think he stretched up and he grimaced as he came down and he could barely run.
Scottie, being one of the leading figures on the 90s Chicago Bulls, would be a huge loss for the team in a finals game.
It looks like Scottie Pippen is laboring as he moves up and down the court. Ahmad told you he's suffering from a bad back. Malone gets his first.
But he kept fighting through the pain, and even contributed by scoring.
Pippen with the hook.
But when only 5 minutes remained of the first quarter, a clearly hurt Scottie Pippen would go to the locker room. Could this be the end of Scottie Pippen's Chicago Bulls career?
The Bulls lead by 9, but here's the bad news for them. Moments ago, Scottie Pippen, accompanied by trainer Chip Schaefer, leaves the bench and heads for the locker room.
Look at Scottie Pippen. I mean, this guy was a genius.
Now I'm sitting next to Pip. Watching my man, and now I'm sitting next to him. This is one of my childhood idols, so this is awesome.
Pippen has Armstrong.
Ball pressure, playing passing lanes, blocking shots, taking charges, and he played with a passion on the defensive end of the floor, like he's going after
guys like this. Fight a guy like Barkley with his strength. Watch this play. That tells you what Pippen's all about.
Here comes to BJ. Scottie right. Scottie right, Michael left.
Well, not just push Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen pushed me. It was this big brother, little brother scenario.
If I can learn how to cut angles off like Scottie, be aggressive on the defensive end of the floor like Scottie, I think that'll just take my game and the team that drafts me to an entirely different level.
It's tough. To be a wing player and going against Scottie was very tough.
Here's McDaniel, should get another one. How about that running?
He is the complete package. He can do everything.
Scottie Maurice Pippen was born on September 25, 1965, in Hamburg, Arkansas, a small town in the southeastern part of the state.
Scottie grew up in rural Arkansas, the youngest of 12 children.
He was the youngest of 12 children in a large family. His parents, Ethel and Preston Pippen, played significant roles in his upbringing.
My family probably shaped me more as who I am as a person. The humble, caring and sharing. I think that all comes from being the youngest of 12 kids and having to sort of play your role and know where you really fit in.
His father, Preston, was a hard-working man who worked in a paper mill until he suffered a stroke that left him partially paralyzed and unable to work. This event placed a considerable financial strain on the family.
The obstacles of growing up in a small town and trying to reach a dream that you set out for. It was something that I ran into a lot of roadblocks. I ran into things that could detour me.
Moving into the front court. Here's Armstrong into that back for Pippen. Oh! In his face! Wow! A monster jam right in the face of Patrick Ewing. Oh, man.
I choose to live my dream and go for what I felt like something I could achieve and that I wanted to achieve.
Scottie Pippen attended Hamburg High School in Hamburg, Arkansas. Despite his later success, his high school basketball career was not particularly notable. Pippen was relatively short for a future NBA player, standing at around 6'1" during his high school years. Pippen played as a point guard for his high school team. His skills were solid, but not exceptional enough to attract significant attention from college scouts. After graduating from Hamburg High School, there were little to no interest for a young Scottie.
Not recruited out of high school, he began college as the team manager at tiny Central Arkansas.
Ultimately, Pippen decided to attend the University of Central Arkansas. The primary reason he didn't receive a scholarship was his lack of standout performance and visibility during high school. At the time, he stood at about 6'1" and weighed only around 150 pounds, which was not particularly impressive for college basketball scouts.
Just the story of Scottie Pippen is pretty remarkable. Someone that came to school here to be a manager on our basketball team.
I was a walk-on. My high school coach called up his college coach, who was coaching the University of Central Arkansas at that time, and asked him if he would give me a tryout.
And then grows 7 inches, between his freshman year and his probably junior year, and becomes an All-American basketball player.
Pippen's growth in stature was matched by his development in skills. He honed his ball handling, shooting, and defensive abilities, making him an all-around player.
The Seattle Supersonics select Scott Pippen of Central Arkansas.
Scott Pippen from the University of Central Arkansas. He's 21 years old, and that's right, folks, you probably have never heard of Scottie Pippen, but believe me, the NBA scouts heard about him.
High school, he was 6'1", and he was recruited as a guard, and between his freshman and sophomore year, he grew 6 inches and is now 6'8", amongst a lot of other taller players out there. He's an outstanding talent. He can pass it, he can shoot it, he can handle it.
With the 5th pick of the 1987 draft, the Seattle Supersonics selected Scottie Pippen.
He can play a small forward, a big guard, a point guard. So it's nice to have that flexibility to move a player like him around.
A lot of people didn't know about you. The NBA scouts did in the Aloha Classic. You had a great performance, also won the slam dunk contest as a 6'7" guard. Do you feel that that's going to give you an added advantage because a lot of teams are looking for those bigger guards now in the mold of Magic Johnson?
Yeah, I feel that'll give me a great advantage, I feel, but still a whole lot that I have to learn about the NBA. And going in, I'm looking to go in and play probably the 3 position, but someday I want to be able to work my way into the point guard position.
A childhood dream, finally realized, but as the crowd cheered, another surprise quickly followed. Within minutes of his selection, news broke that Seattle had traded Pippen to the Chicago Bulls.
Seattle trades to Chicago the 5th pick, the rights to the 5th pick in the draft, Scott Pippen.
A team with a young, explosive talent in Michael Jordan.
Pippen, of course, became a Bull at yesterday's NBA college draft. Scottie was in New York, and that's where he met Grant, who was selected 5 rounds later. Both looking forward to playing on the same team as Michael Jordan, and Michael says the feeling is mutual.
I've never seen either one of them play, but I never see Charles Oakley play or heard of him either. So, you never really can base that on that. I'm anxious to get to camp to see what happens.
Pippen's career path changed in an instant. October 7th, 1987. Chicago fans got their first look at Scottie Pippen, a rookie forward from Central Arkansas. He wasn't the biggest name on the team. That was Michael Jordan. But as Pippen stepped onto the court, he made an impression.
Okay, one of them being introduced now, Scott Pippen, a little-known college player. Vincent Askew comes on for the Sixers, and Scottie Pippen comes on for the Chicago Bulls.
Quick, agile, and tenacious, Pippen showed flashes of his potential. His defense was tight.
Now Charles spinning and twisting. Has to kick it back outside, and it's stolen. Pippen will run all the way in and jam with
his passing shot and his hustle non-stop.
Sellers, nope. Oh, Pippen. Turnover. Here comes Jordan. The bounce to Pippen, the layup there. Another quarter to play. 3 for Pippen. Bingo.
That night, Bulls fans witnessed the beginning of a career that would change the team's future and NBA history. In the 1988 playoffs, Pippen played a crucial role in a defining moment for the Bulls.
I really noticed Scottie during the 1988 playoffs against the Cavs.
Stealing passes, grabbing rebounds, making plays.
Scottie Pippen, who has picked up after a slow start in the series, gets the starting nod.
Double quickly on Doherty. And Pippen gets it away from him. He's got Sparrow and Oakley. Looking for his own shot. Something during the course of the year he lost confidence and didn't do that. And in a game like this, he's performing. Sanders.
He had all of the tools. Was he the best at one of them? Possibly not.
And the young man in the pivot. Steal Pippen.
Scottie Pippen's going to be a star in this league.
He will be. There's no one in the league that could say they had every tool that he has.
A 2-point game. Year by making that trade. It hurt the chemistry, and a steal by Pippen. The Bulls lead for the first time in the game. Listen to him here at the stadium. Now you got to remember, Michael Jordan is on the bench right now, and this team out here is trying to prove something that, hey, we're not a one-man show. We can play this game too.
This was the first real sighting of Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen has got to be the man of the hour, the rookie who got the starting chance today and has responded with 24 points and great all-around hustle.
And I thought, wow, he's the perfect addition to the Bulls.
The Bulls needed someone besides Michael Jordan to come through today, and they found him. Our Miller Lite player of the game is Scottie Pippen.
The 1988-89 season had just concluded for the Chicago Bulls.
Pippen gets a wire in the air.
After a hard-fought Eastern Conference Finals loss to the Detroit Pistons. Scottie Pippen's rookie season saw him averaging the following, with limited playing time. But already 1 year later, he had almost improved by twice as many in every category.
Scottie first. A rookie on the ballot is unusual.
Can you tell me a little bit about Scottie Pippen?
Scottie was an incredible player. There were only a couple guys that were bigger than me that I was uncomfortable when they guarded. And Scottie was one of those guys.
He was lethal defensively.
Scottie has had an obvious rise in his basketball life, both in physical stature and in his play.
A lot of the world didn't know what kind of athlete he was. From Central Arkansas, a little small town.
Did you ever in your wildest dreams in Central Arkansas a year ago think you would be standing here with your name on an all-star ballot?
I knew he was that talented. If he wanted to score 20, he scored 20. If he wanted to stop you from scoring a bucket, he stopped you from scoring a bucket. His mindset was that.
But no, I'm just glad just to get the opportunity to be able to play in the NBA, and also this opportunity for me to get a chance to get my name on the ballot, you know, to have a
I always admired Scottie Pippen in his game and appreciated him.
And then I thought about something. He's the most disrespected all-time great player in any sport that any game has seen.
Interesting. Scottie Pippen, who was the second most important person in providing a dynasty in one of the greatest sporting runs that has ever happened. Like, I think younger generations of basketball fans, I'll use, my son as an example. He's 18 years old. He knows everything there is to know about Michael Jordan, and he knows Scottie Pippen was a really good player who played with him. Because if you're not old enough to have seen it, then maybe you don't realize it, and maybe history hasn't done a good enough job of telling Scottie's story.
Now as a regular starter on a rising Bulls team, Scottie Pippen had taken his game a step up. In 1989, the Chicago Bulls brought in a new head coach, Phil Jackson.
In 1989, Jackson was named head coach of the Chicago Bulls, where he began to develop his own philosophy.
He challenges you mentally. He has his whole Zen thing that he has a belief in.
Phil was just a fascinating person who was willing to kind of try anything to motivate the team, to keep us interested.
Once everybody's connected, then the picture is beautiful and the bond is strong.
He had a different way of thinking about the game.
Coaching basketball and playing basketball, it was more than just a physical act, it's a spiritual act. In this book that was kind of the pivotal point of my coaching career, written back in '93, I quoted something that was from Rudyard Kipling. It was called The Law of the Jungle.
Kipling wrote, "The strength of the wolf is the pack." Is that we don't stand as individuals in this game. This is a team game. The wolf has to rely on the pack to fulfill what it's going to do. That's really basketball.
Phil Jackson introduced, along with Tex Winter, the triangle offense.
Phil's belief in Texas also was that you weren't going to win championships having one player dominate the ball all the time. It was too easy for a defense like Detroit to load up on you. So the decision was made that we were going to run the triangle.
Tex always believed in ball movement, player movement, and that's how you play the game. You don't believe in any individual having the talent to dribble, penetrate, or beat anyone.
Scottie, emphatic dunk.
It just felt like that you were showboating. That was always his words.
Triangle offense is a series of options. If the defense does one thing, you can move a different way. Or go take what the defense gives you.
In the triangle offense, you can move the basketball. It'll find its way back.
It was more a philosophy that promoted ball movement and player movement. Every guy feeling a part of the offense.
I think all in all, Tex made me a lot better player.
The triangle offense changed everything. It emphasized ball movement, spacing, and shared responsibility, giving Pippen more opportunities to handle the ball and make plays.
Mutombo and lays it in very nicely by Scottie Pippen. He's got 18.
It wasn't just about scoring. He became a facilitator, a defensive anchor, and the perfect complement to Michael Jordan.
Right side, Scottie Pippen will take it for three.
The system allowed Pippen to use his versatility.
Under Jackson's guidance, he grew into one of the most well-rounded and valuable players in the league.
I don't think you could point to one part of Scottie's game and say, well, that was his weakness and he couldn't do that. I mean, even when he came in the league and he wasn't a great shooter right away, by the time he retired, he was a Hall of Fame shooter. He knocked shots down. So
here's Pippen for three. What a job by Scottie Pippen.
Scottie.
Coming up, the 40th annual NBA All-Star Game, live from Miami, Florida.
One of the top young forwards in the league, he has emerged as both a talented scorer and rebounder, making his All-Star debut from the Chicago Bulls, Scottie Pippen.
It's the coolest experience I've ever had in my life. I can remember my first All-Star game. I mean, it was the greatest experience I've ever had in my life. But the second half of the season,
yes, you were tired.
I was the worst player in the league. Like, I partied too much, or it just the whole weekend just took too much out of it. But I learned after that.
In 1990, Scottie Pippen earned his first NBA All-Star selection.
Jackson's triangle offense gave Pippen more freedom to create and dominate as a two-way player, and the league took notice.
For an underdog.
Scottie Pippen in the game. Chicago Bull gets open. Brown here in Miami Arena. 51-30.
Pippen on the rebound. In your face, Scottie Pippen. The alley-oop, and tell you, Pippen, he can move David Robinson way out of that area.
The 1989-90 season was a breakout year for Scottie Pippen and a step forward for the Chicago Bulls. They finished the regular season with a strong 55-27 record, their best yet. Once again, the Detroit Pistons stood in the way of Scottie Pippen's first NBA Finals.
Well, the Pistons have moved on, but you really got a feel for this man right here.
After years of being pushed around by the Detroit Pistons,
they feel like they can beat us at will. We were tired of this feeling. You know, I still remember the pain. They do the little things to frustrate us.
And the Bulls overreact, and Pippen lost his cool for a moment.
The Bulls finally broke through in 1991.
And they are greeting the introduction of the Detroit Pistons. The Chicago Bulls lining up with John Paxson, Michael Jordan in the backcourt, Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen up front, and the head coach of the Chicago Bulls, Phil Jackson.
Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen stood shoulder to shoulder. Together, they swept the Pistons and finally broke through, showing the league they were unstoppable.
Phil's idea was to take advantage of Michael and Pippen, who just fly around like sleek Dobermans.
By and large, everybody became very dedicated to the fact that we had to prove on the court what we hadn't the year before, that we could play under pressure.
And finally, Pippen and the Bulls reached their first ever NBA Finals. But they would have to go through the, at the time, current MVP, Magic Johnson, leading a strong Lakers team.
The NBA is a league of stars, and none shine brighter than Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan. And while much has been said about their respective teams, nothing has been more anticipated than their individual matchup. It's a dream that's taken 7 years to fulfill, with each player traveling his own celebrated route.
Even though Scottie Pippen was a respected player, everybody had their eyes set on the battle between Magic and Jordan.
This is a dream come true to play Michael in the finals. It's something that I think we've both been looking forward to.
You know, few athletes in the history of sports have had a career of such completeness and symmetry as Magic Johnson.
You know, when you're a competitor, you want to play against the best. I played against Larry, and I've always wanted to play against Michael.
The matchup of the decade, Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson.
The stage was set.
Moments ago, Scottie Pippen and the rest of the Bulls coming out onto the floor. There's Pippen.
I tell you what, it's the ultimate breakthrough bout for him. He's had his scars. He's had his wounds. He's had a tough career thus far to this point. And right now, Scottie Pippen this season and throughout the playoffs is breaking through to the level of the Barkleys, the Birds, and the Worthies. He is becoming a superstar in his own right.
Bulls to cement themselves in NBA history.
Today, Game 1 between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Chicago Bulls.
You are looking at Chicago Stadium, and we approach the start of the NBA Championship Series.
And now, the starting lineup for your Chicago Bulls. 6'7" forward from Central Arkansas, Scottie
All right, Steve, Ahmad, for the Chicago Bulls, this is their first ever appearance in the finals of this, their silver anniversary season. For the Los Angeles Lakers, it is their 9th trip to the championship round in the last 12 years. Lonnie Divac, Bill Cartwright, and the opening tip controlled by the LA Lakers as Magic Johnson moves across against Michael Jordan.
From the beginning, the game was intense, with both teams matching each other's scoring. Both Pippen and Jordan had respectable performances. But Jordan didn't manage to stop the, at the time, career assist record holder, Magic Johnson, who had an amazing eye for passing.
Clock at 5. Perkins from downtown. Johnson at the guards. They try to double up on Teagle. Bullet pass from Beauty. But under pressure, not able to hit. Magic with the spin. The pass off the dribble of Divac. What a play. Magic backing Livingston. Over to help. Freeing up Worthy. Yes. Magic Johnson, after the slow start, has come on strong. He now has 17 points and 10 assists.
With 20 seconds left, the Bulls were up by 2. And Jordan would try to match that at the other end of the court.
All right, here we go. One in time. Michael, if they all run at you, remember Scottie's right here. 9 seconds, a lot of time.
Bulls down by 1. 9 seconds to play. Jordan is down in the paint, being guarded by Worthy. Pippen must get it, and he does. And here is Jordan.
I just knew Michael's shot was going in. When I seen it, it was on target. It was up high enough. I was like, this is it. It rattled in and rattled out. I was like, oh gosh.
You could see the disappointment in Jordan's face after the ball was rebounded by the Lakers.
But it wasn't over. The Bulls fouled, and that left 2 seconds for Scottie Pippen to create a miracle.
2-point Laker lead. Cartwright will toss it in. Here's Pippen from center court. From center court, he fires it, and he hit the back of the rim. And that is it. The Los Angeles Lakers steal Game 1 from the Chicago Bulls. They have defeated the Bulls 93-91 despite the explosion.
The Bulls lost the first game of the finals, but for Scottie, even more than winning a championship was at stake.
Strongly supported by his family, his one regret is that his father, who died last spring, can't see him play for the NBA title.
I never did get the response of knowing whether or not he knew what I was doing. I knew that he was watching me on TV. You know, it was the only feedback that I could get to know that, let him know that I had made it.
There's no question about it. This is singularly the biggest game in the 25-year NBA history of the Bulls franchise.
Los Angeles Lakers are in the catbird seat after lifting the home court advantage from the Bulls.
We felt like we were unbeatable, but, you know, they proved us wrong.
You get to this point, and they will drown you, flat drown you.
Now we got to go back to the drawing board and come up with something new.
And that they did.
Phil doesn't get a lot of credit for being a great strategic coach. Notion is he's chanting and he's involved in mysticism or Zen or something. But Phil's a basketball guy.
Yeah, I'm sure that Phil Jackson knows exactly what has to be done to get his team to play to another level.
For Game 2 of the best of 7 NBA Final.
Going into the Lakers series, Phil had in his pocket the strategy that, look, I've got Pippen, who really plays point guard for us, point forward, runs the offense, and we'll put him on Magic at some point.
The Chicago Bulls admit that this is the biggest game of their basketball lives, and they control the opening tip.
And Scottie was about to get his chance at shutting down Magic.
And the foul called by Jess Kersey, and that is the second on Jordan.
Michael had picked up 2 fouls early, and so it became necessary.
Here's the switch right now. Take Jordan off, give him a blow, put Pippen on Magic for a while, take a little break in the defensive end for Michael Jordan.
And Scottie didn't back down.
I knew that I could cause him a lot of problems. I watched Magic my whole career and even before my career, so I knew the style of player he was, and I knew what I could do to prohibit him from being as effective on the basketball court as he had been throughout his career.
The change of putting Pippen on Magic Johnson rather than Michael Jordan. A little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, able to bump, be physical with Magic, knock him out a little bit further away from the block, and even in the final shot, it's a struggle for Magic to get a good one off.
One of the things that Scottie did was he, on dead balls, he'd pick him up in the backcourt, he'd make Magic work. And Magic was good, he wasn't going to turn it over a lot, but he made him work to get the ball up the floor. He rarely had someone of Scottie's athleticism and length who could guard him 94 feet.
Magic was like 6'9", playing the point guard position. But here was this kid, Scottie Pippen, I thought for the first time, that was able to match him size for size, speed for speed.
He found a little thing that really disrupted their tempo.
They just dominated from then on.
Wild pass, and Pippen able to come away with it. Here's T-Box, threw up a prayer, thought he called a foul, and here come the Bulls on a 3-on-2. Pippen off the hesitation. Spectacular end-to-end move.
After years of struggle, Scottie Pippen and the Bulls had done it. They emerged as champions.
Pippen comes away with it, and the Chicago Bulls have won their first ever NBA championship.
Unstoppable. The connection between Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen was the key to their success.
Chicago's success had always focused on Michael Jordan, but this year, more than ever, he would share the spotlight with another superstar.
People started taking notice that this wasn't a so-called one-man team. There was another guy by the name of Pippen.
2 guys or 1 guy can't win a championship. I mean, Michael never won anything before I got here. When you talk about tandems or duels, there's no way you can't talk about the 2 of us.
Grant the rebound up court to Jordan. Michael a flip to Pippen.
And a foul. Oh, pretty stuff.
The championship trophy was almost in their grasp. And fittingly, Pippen and Jordan would help them reach out and grab it.